And this is a very integral part of the sponsorship of this debate. It will be foolhardy for us to take part in such a debate. But if we see an independently organized debate whose backers are seen or perceived to be non-partisan in any form whatsoever, Buhari will be good and ready tomorrow.
Well, by now everybody knows what that is about. Let me get Mr. Nwagu's comment on this. This actually happened earlier today on our breakfast program, speaking about debates and the presidential candidate of the APC. How important or otherwise is the candidates who are seeking our votes participating in a debate? How important is that for you?
Well, it's very important. We've been canvassing for debates because most of what happens in the campaign is too much razzmatazz, and so you can't pin people down to anything. So we thought that the opportunity of the debate will help the undecided voters who actually debates target to make up their mind. But we also have the challenge of professionalism, because people tend to take this partisan thing too far. And why I said so is that no matter who you are, you have some sense of place or interest where you. But if you're a doctor, for instance, even if you're a canally rascal, you don't go fiddling with women who are your patients. You understand? You keep your whatever your predilection is to yourself, and then face the job that you have been given to do. So my sense is that the APC or whoever should attend the debate on the face of it. The questions that you are asked is what you're going to ask. If you are asked questions that tilt to partisanship, you expose it and make it very clear that this question is intended to put you in bad light. So my sense is that we lose the opportunity of engaging with a wider audience if we shun these kind of opportunities. But again, even at that, the debates will just take for maybe 2 hours or thereabout 3 hours at most. The policy documents of these politicians or the parties should be engaged. If you're a presidential candidate of a party, we expect you to have given us your policy document, something we can engage with, and then we can hold you responsible with, too, at the end of the day. So I am for debates, but it is also left to the parties if they think that it will be a case of the cockroach and the lizard and not getting justice if lizard is the one that is going to have to preside over their case.
Let me get to Mr. Landa, because there Mr. Lake accused some of the partners who were organizing that debate, because Channels is also a partner, but he didn't accuse Channels. He says some of those who were involved, they have reason to believe that they're partisan, but you think that's also taken it too far?
Well, on the face of it, I mean, the issue of partisanship is inherently subjective, obviously. And so if they feel that their own candidate has not been given a fair shake, is a subjective position to take. But the larger issue is, what do we lose in not having the two candidates standing side by side and having a full measure of them, explain to them why we should respectively choose them. And unfortunately, that again, there's some historical basis for it. This is a low trust culture. Nobody trusts anything. And the issue of partisanship is overblown. Like Ezenwa was saying, partisanship does not mean that you cannot be fair and balanced and objective to the point where you're dealing with the issues. And this entire campaign has been bereft of issues. And I think the press itself, the media itself, I'm not going to be mentioning names, but it's complicit in making sure that all we're hearing about superfluous things about candidates' passports, or is it certificates, or the real core issues. This would have been an opportunity for us to have the presidential candidates speak to the nation about the existentialist threats that face Nigeria. Right? You have the violence in the Northeast. You have actually the disintegration of the Nigerian state. If I was teaching a 5-year-old geography I will be redrawing the map of Nigeria, because certain parts of that country do not exist under the sovereignty of Nigeria. That is one existential threat. The second existential threat is the low price of oil and how it's going to affect the economy. The country is literally broke, whether we care to admit it publicly or not. So whoever wins that election will have to deal with these issues. They're not going to go away. But the last point I want to make is that this is just part of the tradition of no debates. If you remember the last time, the incumbent didn't want to debate, the one before then. So there's nothing new in my own estimation about one person saying, I don't want to debate the other person, right? There's never been a presidential debate in which all the candidates were presented. So there's really nothing new. I mean, it's just that, really ignominious tradition of avoiding to talk about the real issues that confront Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Lardner. Before we wrap it up, we have this comment. We've got actually feedback from you. So let's see, which one do we get to start with this time? And okay, well, I might also just go over here and take a look at comments coming through. Well, Tony says, well, I was still at INEC office in Ojokoro today, and they confirmed the cards had not been printed for what 05030. Some CVR cards have been printed and were distributed at Somori High School, Fagba, earlier today. He said he doesn't agree with INEC on that one. Okay, so that's where we draw the curtains today. I want to thank you, Mr. Tunji Lardner, for coming on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And then Mr. Eze Nwangu also, who joined us from our studios in Abuja. Thank you for joining us today. And so there you have it. That's where we draw the curtains today on the program. We thank you all for watching and for sending your comments to us today. We appreciate all of you. From everyone here today, have a good night.